has changed so much, like from 2017 to 2018
Oh,
to
yeah. Like,
2019.
if you compare it to Destiny 1, it's a completely different game, pretty much. Like, in terms of how it, I don't know, looks, I guess, but in terms of how it plays, it's fairly similar.
Yeah, and it seems like they've changed a lot in it. I think you explained it better than some of the videos. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So, Jay, DC fandom happened. I think you're dying to talk about it. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it was
desperate to
fun.
talk about it.
So, how much, like, I'm guessing you went back on YouTube and just looked up all the trailers then? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's good. I'm glad.
So, I mean, we could talk about the movie stuff if you want. I
Yeah, a little
think,
bit. Just like touch on it, just because it somewhat. Well, I don't know. It just sort of brings the hype train even more, you know.
yeah.
Because
So,
I actually watched the whole bloody stream from 6 p.m. till half one, and well, actually till about 2 in the morning because it didn't finish till 2. So I spent what? How long is that? Like 8 hours roughly, just watching this stream, trying to like make sure I see everything.
would you say it was worth it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I wasn't going to do it initially. I was going to just sort of like, miss it and then watch all the trailers on catch up. But then I didn't really have anything to do that night,
Yeah,
so I thought, well, I might as well. And then if there's any sort of lull, I'll just, stop the stream and watch another stream somewhere else for a half an hour or whatever.
sure.
So it was actually kind of fun watching the stream and having these announcements happen like as they were happening because it kind of like made it more hype. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like one of the first people to see this. I'm part of the public who's seeing it for the first time, so that made it quite special, especially the gaming stuff. Like, my God, honestly, like there was no leaks at all for one of these games in particular, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so glad that it was actually like a surprise and nobody knew about it. I love it when we don't hear about stuff, but I kind of do like it when we do hear about stuff, depending on what it is. Obviously.
Yeah. So maybe we should start with I consider to be the biggest kind of trailer
Go on
ish Suicide Squad game.
then. Okay.
Suicide Squad colon Kill the Justice League.
Yeah, I think it's either Kill Justice League or Kill the Justice League. Yeah.
Kill Justice League. So this is Rocksteady's game. They released the
Yeah.
teaser, a poster a couple of weeks ago. This is the game they've been working on for 5 years. We've been dying to know what they're working on. We finally got a fairly extensive 3-minute reveal trailer. And just hit Jay, just tell me what you're thinking. What
So
are you thinking?
my initial thoughts when I watched the trailer after it finished were, oh my God, we have to wait 2 more years for this thing because it comes out in 2022. Now, there are pros and cons to this information. Cons: it's already been 5 years. What the hell's with a 7 year? Like, this game, honestly, a game that's taken 7 years to make better be bloody good.
Yeah.
All right, it better be as good as Last of Us because that took 7 years, right?
Well, they made Uncharted 4, but
Yeah, we'll say
sure.
give or take, right?
It probably took 3 to 5 full development years.
Okay, so when did Rocksteady start making this game is the question, right? Because they also made Batman VR as well, I think a year later. So if you want to be, it's technically been 4 years since a Rocksteady game if you want to include that, right? But this game better be bloody good. I'll tell you that right now. If they've already had roughly 3 or 4 years of development, then I'm looking at a pretty good game by the time it comes out. Like, this game better be bloody next gen stuff. This game better be bloody good. So that was my initial thing. And then the other thing, I guess, was I'm glad that we're seeing these characters as playable because Suicide Squad's a bit of a difficult one, right? We had the movie and not a lot of people liked it. We've now got this new movie with like, oh God, how many characters? Like 12, like
1,500 characters.
yeah, like so many characters and characters that are very not well known. They're actually from the original run of Suicide Squad, not the more
Sure.
recent one, which is amazing. Polka Dot Man, cannot wait for that. Like, I'm actually being, I'm dead serious.
God.
I love like I love heroes or villains, anti-heroes that are just like not well known. I love that they're like Rocket Raccoon and like all the Guardian stuff. People hated the idea of that before it came out, but now it's like one of the biggest things ever. So glad about
Sure.
that. So we've got Harley Quinn, which is like a must, right? You kind of have to have Harley Quinn. You've then got King Shark, which is good because again, not a very well-known character.
Jay, my question for that guy:
Yeah, go on.
did they collaborate with James Gunn there because he's in the new Suicide Squad film, right?
What King Shark is?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is. See, this is what I kind of like. I kind of like that the film and the game are coming out within a roughly the same time frame. Like Suicide Squad, the film's coming out next year, but the game is obviously isn't coming out till a year later. So it's still, I think what they're doing is they're basically making the film so that you fall in love with that character a bit more, and then you kind of like that character more once the game comes out. Because obviously a lot of gamers are going to be watching the film, right?
But they must have decided those characters in the game way before the film was in development, right? Surely.
I don't know. It's a good point. Maybe they only had 3 characters and they were like, well, who else do we want? Maybe just grab someone from the film that's coming out.
Sure.
Potentially,
Anyway,
we don't know.
So you were saying?
Yeah, so King Shark, Harley Quinn. King Shark's good because not very well known, and also is a character that hasn't really seen much of the light, which I'm glad about because we need more characters. I guess he's kind of like the Killer Croc.
I was going to say, he is like a Killer Croc?
Yeah, so
he's
Killer Croc and King Shark are basically the same, but actually King Shark is actually like, I think he's a demigod. He's actually like got godly powers.
Right, okay.
If you actually like go and read about him and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Probably, so Deadshot again, another must, just because of how popular he was in the previous lot. And I don't think Deadshot's actually in the new one. Because Will Smith isn't making a new appearance, so he can't be.
Oh yeah, I don't think he is then. No.
And then probably one of my favourite characters, Captain Boomerang.
Yes.
Just this Australian drunk, like, belligerent, like, idiot. I love him. He's just so stupid. He's almost like one of those heroes who accidentally saves the day, but doing it while drinking like a can of Foster's, like a really dumb kind of thing. I love that. I do like that they made his powers a bit more teleporty as well. I thought that's quite cool. Because in the film, he's just a bit of a basic kind of like Boomerang done kind of thing. But yeah, I love the art style too. I love the way it looks. It looks cartoony enough for it to be cool. Like, because some games can look quite cartoony and look a bit naff. Like Fortnite looks a bit naff to me just because of how cartoony it looks. But this still looks like it's got a good amount of realism to it. It is set in the Arkham universe. It takes place roughly straight after the last game because Harley Quinn was put in jail, and now I'm guessing she's been hired by Amanda Waller to get less time on her jail sentence, which is pretty amazing. But it's based in Metropolis, so obviously the city that Superman is from. And the story goes that Brainiac has invaded. You know Brainiac is?
I do.
Yeah, he's been in like previous games for other DC stuff. Yeah, he's basically like taken over and brainwashed the Justice League. So now the Suicide Squad have got to take him out, or sort it all out until Brainiac can bugger off or whatever. I think that's a great idea. I can't wait to bloody play it. It's going to be amazing.
Cool. Okay, well, I'll go on my piece, Jay.
Go for
it. By the way, so the name itself is a little bit misleading then, because you're not trying to kill them because they're evil. You're trying to unbrainwash them, so to speak.
We don't know that. It just says kill. Like, I think the Suicide Squad are like, America has been like, well, we can't stop these guys. We can't unbrainwash them. Yeah. So we might as well just kill them or try to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So my 2 cents from this trailer, Jay. Your reaction is perfect. 2022.
Yeah, that's insane.
What the hell
have you guys been doing? It better be like first quarter. Or at least the summer. At least the summer. If it's any later than the summer, then don't bother.
Mate, I just don't know what they've been doing. Like,
I mean, maybe they just like took a break for a year or two and have only just started development like 2 years ago.
Maybe, but like that would then this seems like a pure next gen game.
Oh yeah.
But then I'm literally thinking, like, if you started this game in 2017, did you even have access to those? I mean, I guess you did, but
yeah, mate, I think the film came out roughly around then, didn't it? It's like 2016.
No, I mean like access to next gen tech.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a point. Maybe they've only been doing it for the last 2 years then. Because I think the next gen development's been in the last 4 years, and they only really had, I think, they were only able to test it maybe within the last 2 years. So I don't know.
Right.
Hard to say.
So I can't believe that release date. I think it's probably the first game we've seen confirmed for 2022. But
oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but the trailer itself, I have to say, I thought the dialogue and the characters and the delivery was spot on.
Yeah, it wasn't too cheesy, was it?
No, I found it funny. I
Yeah.
found it funny, like the bit at the end with Superman and like I think Captain Boomerang like tries to hit one on his
And it
head
just
or
sort of
whatever.
like
It just
dinks
pops
him.
off.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
didn't even flinch.
yeah,
So
yeah.
good.
And they're like, "Who've we got to kill? Who've we got to kill?" And they're just like all like,
That one.
yeah." I was like, "Yeah, no, that's fair." And thinking about it, Jay, you know, the rumor. What? Okay, firstly, I'm so glad it's not a pure Batman game. I think
Yeah,
that would have
Batman
been
I don't think is in it,
really.
is he?
No,
Because
I don't think
so
so.
the story is that obviously at the end of Arkham, Batman
Right.
died.
Yeah.
You see him blow up in an explosion, but we don't know if he's actually dead. And that's the reason for this other game, but I'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Looking, Jay, the question always was, if they do a Justice League game, which was the rumor, you know, how are they going to do Superman? How are they going to make an invincible character playable and stuff, right? And then it does seem that they've gone around the table and probably gone, yeah, you know what, guys, I don't know if we can do the Justice League. So why don't we just do the Suicide Squad trying to kill the Justice League? Which, to be fair, is a really interesting idea, perhaps more interesting than just a Justice League game. But there is a part of me that really wanted that Justice League game. I'm not going to lie to you. Here we go.
I have a rebuttal, sir.
Go on, go on.
So this actually plays into previous tries at a Superman game, and also present day tries at superhero games in general.
Okay.
It is very hard to make a superhero seem powerful, yet not too powerful to just obliterate everybody in one hit. Because if you really know the true statistics of Superman, I mean, he could destroy the planet at any moment if he wanted to. He's that powerful. Like a single punch could just break open the planet. Same with Hulk. Same with a lot of superheroes. But you're not going to have a game where you just punch the ground and all of a sudden the planet just splits in two. Like that's not possible. They need to restrain themselves a little bit just so they don't damage too much, which I guess is why we need damage control in Marvel and all this kind of stuff, right? So I think if you had made a Justice League game, you would have had to have made the characters feel so unpowerful that it wouldn't have been fun. Which is why I think Suicide Squad is good, because they're not that powerful. Harley Quinn is just a girl who happens to be able to wield a massive hammer and a rocket launcher every so often, right? And she can, do a couple other things. Like King Shark is definitely has some like godly powers, but at the end of the day, he's really just strong. Captain Boomerang just got some like cool tech, like kind of the kind of stuff that you wouldn't have to, make any worse because of how powerful they are. They're actually like their power doesn't go that far, so it's not that difficult to make them feel quite powerful because they're not actually that powerful in the first place. So I think it's probably a good idea because you can imagine having like Superman as a boss, like having to go up against him at the end of the game, and he's like you have to like have everyone fight and it be this like big thing. But the only way you can really defeat him is if you've like leveled up completely, kind of thing. I think it just makes more sense because if you had released a game where you tried to make Superman not that powerful, it just would have been boring. Which I think a lot of games, especially Marvel Avengers, is having a bit of a problem with that at the minute. Is that the characters just don't feel powerful enough, and it's bringing the game down a little bit. So I'm kind of glad they've done it this way.
Yeah, it does make sense, and the 4-player co-op also makes you understand why the development's been so long, because hopefully we're getting the detail of one Batman cross 4 people, like as in from the old Arkham
Basically,
games.
yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want other Suicide Squad members to be in the game or not. I do, but whether that will make it too much of an ambitious game or not, I don't know. What do you reckon?
Playable or
Yeah,
just
playable.
NPCs?
Like DLC
Yeah.
in the future, playable.
Do you know, it's a brilliant contrast because we've now got Avengers with
Yeah.
plus 13 post-launch characters, and we've now got this game. I think, Jay, they'll stick to the 4.
I hope
Maybe
so.
have
Yeah.
1 or 2 as DLC, but I think it would be too ambitious.
So what we do know about the characters is that you can play as any of the 4 characters at any time.
Right, okay.
So at any mission, any point in the game, you can be Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, or Deadshot. You don't have to play one the whole game. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. And
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Like the story revolves around all 4 characters, not just one. So I think that is actually like a really smart. I think that's kind of what Avengers potentially should have done.
Yes.
Because as an argument with Avengers, I think Avengers was made to be like these other games, but then at the last minute, maybe within the last year, got turned into what it is right now. And I think that's why it's doing badly because it isn't what it was supposed to be initially. It's just been like turned into something completely different at way too late in the game.
Well,
So I
what's
think if they did
interesting,
that, it would
Jay,
ruin it. Yeah,
what's interesting is that Crystal Dynamics finished their last game, Rise of the Tomb Raider, in 2015,
yeah,
which had some DLC, and Rocksteady's last game was 2015, Arkham Knight. So they've actually had a similar-ish time frame,
yeah.
and we're getting two different games at two completely different times. One in 2020, one in 2022. So I'm optimistic about this game. I do think it will be Rocksteady's. I think this may solidify Rocksteady as one of the best developers on the planet. If
Yeah, I
this
mean
game,
they
if
make
this game goes
such a
well,
good. I mean, the Batman series is just it's on another
amazing.
level. Like it's so
Yeah,
well developed. It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. There's not much more we can really talk about, mate, because we didn't see gameplay. This game's not
No,
coming out for 2
unfortunately.
years, so we shall switch now to. Yeah, so this was a weird one, Jay, right? Because on the stream, the game we're about to talk about was trailered first, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, and the Suicide Squad game came after, so we knew there was kind of two games happening, which was the rumor. By the way, there were rumors of what Rocksteady was working on for years and years and years, and I don't think there was ever solid rumors that it was a Suicide Squad game, if I'm not
No. So the
mistaken.
rumor was it was a Justice League game. That's what the
And
rumor
then a
was.
Batman game.
Yeah.
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 So I think they did well to cover that, actually.
Oh, massively.
So what we're getting, Jay, is the makers of Arkham Origins, which is a spin-off from the Arkham series. That studio, WB Games Montreal, they are making what it looks like. What they're doing is they're doing an Avengers. Actually, they've got Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2, but they're set in different universes. So Gotham Knights is the other game.
Yeah. So the story with Gotham Knights is that it is the sequel to the last Batman game, as well as Suicide Squad also being a sequel. They're both in the same universe, so they're happening at the same time, but in different cities.
Right, because I thought Gotham Knights wasn't in the Arkham universe.
No, it is the exact. It is the sequel, but in the same city. Whereas
Right.
Suicide Squad is the sequel, but in a different city. They're happening at the same time.
Okay.
So Batman is dead, or so-called dead, at the end of the last Arkham game, and with him gone, crime is up, which means someone needs to take his place, and those someone are the four basically Batman version 2.0s, or the small, the kid Batmen or Batwomen,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batwoman or Batgirl, depending on
Yeah.
more likely Batgirl, Barbara
Batgirl.
Gordon, which is amazing. I honestly, I'm so glad they put Barbara Gordon in the game. Like
Yeah.
we can actually play as Batgirl. It's insane. She's one of my favorites. I love her. Same with Nightwing. Nightwing's just
Yeah.
amazing. So basically, you four now have to take over Batman's place and fix Gotham, essentially. And it's basically the same game as Suicide Squad, just with those four instead. It's amazing. But
I've
it's
got
coming out a lot sooner. I think it's coming out 2021.
yeah. I've got an article up here, Jay, that says WB Games confirmed that Gotham Knights is set in a different continuity. That despite the connection.
Really?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Did they say on the stream it was
I mean, no, I've watched a few videos and they were saying about how it's the same, but maybe they were wrong.
alright, well it looks to be a bit up
I
in
mean,
the air.
it can't make. I mean, it kind of just makes more sense for it to be in the same continuity, doesn't it?
You're right. You're right. I agree with you. So sorry, yeah, so you're excited about this. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, yeah. We saw gameplay,
Mm.
quite a good, like almost like a 10-minute chunk of gameplay, and it was pre-alpha, and it looked good. You could tell it wasn't polished.
Mm.
Like there were parts of it that were, frames were dropping, but that's honestly, if I see a game in pre-alpha that hasn't got frame drops, I'm worried. It
Sure.
means that it means it's a tech demo and it's not right. It's not real. So as long as I see frame rate drops and stuttering and things that can go slightly wrong in a game that's in pre-alpha, I'm happy about that. Like that's a good sign. That means they're actually working on it and it's real. That means that is real. That's a playable thing right now. So, I'm happy. The fact that we saw gameplay is insane. I don't know. I mean, if they're in pre-alpha right now, and it's not, I reckon this is coming out holiday 2021 at the earliest. I reckon they might even potentially push it to Q1 of 2022, depending on development. But at the minute, it looks quite good. It looks very similar to the Arkham series and how UI looks. So yeah, I'm happy about it. It looks fine. It looks great. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to be a bummer, Jay. To your point, it looks more of Batman Arkham
Yeah,
series
it
to
does.
me.
Yeah,
And if you like that and you're into that universe, you're having a whale of a time.
yeah.
This game did not interest me at all,
Wow. I
personally,
honestly, why?
because they're
It
all
looks
just Plan B
amazing.
Batmans.
Well, I mean, they are, but they're their own character, and they're all pretty
I
amazing.
know,
What's the
but
thing?
like,
That technically all these characters are people who have been mentored by Batman.
yeah, and it's cool that they're coming under a banner and they're being a team. That's cool. I just like looked at it and thought, I don't want to play Arkham Knight again. So
Well, no, well, I guess I don't know how different it's going to be. Whether I don't know if it's going to be linear or open world. We don't know any of this information yet. What would you rather it be like Arkham Knight or be different?
different.
Okay, so would you rather it be a bit more? Because I guess Arkham City was quite open world, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like the last two Arkham games were open world, whereas the first one, Arkham Asylum, was linear. You couldn't really go anywhere, not
was
really.
more
So
Metroidvania. Yeah, I think it's not per se about the genre. It's more about the characters. What I'm worried is it's that it's a next gen Arkham Knight kind of. That's kind of my worry.
why does
Like,
that worry you? That's insane. To me, that just screams to me amazing. I can't wait.
yeah, well, look, some people love those games and they can't get enough of those games, right? Arkham Knight came out and I was like, why would I play the second game again, but bigger? That's kind of but
Yeah,
that's ironic for me, from someone who plays every Assassin's Creed. I completely understand that,
yeah.
and I'm not saying Arkham Knight is a bad game by any stretch. It's a really good, great
It
game,
is amazing.
but I just never felt the need to play it. Is all.
Okay,
I
so
kind
have
of
you actually
felt
you have played it, right?
no,
Oh,
no,
you haven't played the most recent Arkham game.
no.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'm also assuming that the next gen upgrade will show in this game compared to
Hope
the
so.
2015 Arkham Knight.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, I mean that's the thing I loved about the Arkham games initially was how every new game looked so much better than the last one, even though they looked fairly similar. You could tell,
Yeah,
like, if you played the first Arkham game now, it's pretty like, I mean, it holds up obviously because of how recent it is, but it's definitely like a big difference between that and the most recent one. So
yeah. Yeah, and credit to where credit's due, man. When that first Arkham game came out, like it was so good.
mm.
It was so. It was just by
It was
far.
groundbreaking. It really
It
was.
was. It was by far the best superhero game we'd ever got by a
I think
mile.
it won loads of awards the year it came out. Definitely. Like if you buy the physical edition now, it's just covered in like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, like all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it did really
Yeah,
well.
the Arkham Knight. I was always surprised. Like I was like, "There's no way they can pull off doing all of Gotham. Like it's too big." But they did it, and props to them. I never thought it would be possible. But yeah, I want to see more of this game. I wasn't convinced by the gameplay. I wasn't convinced by the trailer. But happy for you, who for being excited about it. I am more interested in Suicide Squad. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I genuinely can't wait for this.
What
I'm
do you,
so
Jay?
excited.
What do you think about? I'm trying to think in my mind, Jay. I think to be honest with you, the only time we may have got something like this was Unity and Rogue, where we had two games come out. That was the same
Oh.
day, but like two games within the same franchise, kind of in a different. I think that's awesome. What do you think?
Well, yeah. Of course, it's amazing. I mean, to me, right? Marvel always seemed to have an advantage on DC just because of how popular the Avengers are right now. But I reckon if you ask me, DC is winning the battle right now, or at least they're winning the war potentially
On films.
on everything.
Okay, all right. I'm
Like
being open. I'm being open.
the hype is there for DC right now. Marvel does not have a good like their street cred, their reputation is low right now. Whereas DC, it's like way up there
I
in
don't read
terms
the
of like
comics, so
no, but I mean like in terms of like entertain like TV shows, films, and games. If you combine those three, I reckon DC are winning right now.
I think
Maybe
the
like 60-40, maybe even 70-30.
I think the only reason that is because Marvel's just peaked with the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah,
So
and
there's
now they've
nowhere to
got
go but down.
exactly.
So in
But
that sense,
DC
yeah.
have only got to go up. They can only go up.
Mate, you don't you'd hope you would hope.
And I think that I can make
uh,
a little thing about the. Did you watch the Batman film trailer? And what did you think?
yeah.
Do you care? How do you are you
Mm.
one of these people who think just because he's got some eyeshadow on that he's an emo and doesn't look very cool?
Jay, you know how much I don't check out the internet. Didn't even know that
Okay.
was a problem.
Yep, and it's
Didn't.
annoying. It's annoying the hell out of me. I hate it when people say that. I hate it when people like can judge something by that level of detail. It annoys the
Yeah,
hell
I
out of me.
think that's a sign of life being too good. Comments
Yeah,
like that on the film trailer, Jay. A couple of things stood out to me. One, the bit where he punches the guy, it just seemed way over the top. I
yeah.
was like,
That's what was good about it. Continue.
and I didn't like that, but
I loved it, and
And
I'll explain why.
secondly, the general vibe I got from my gut was that, oh, this is going to be really good. That's just the
Yes.
vibe I got. That is the
Yeah.
vibe I got.
I got
What did you
goosebumps.
think?
I tell you what, when I get goosebumps for a trailer that for a film that's only 25% done, it's only 25% done. They haven't even gotten halfway. Dude,
Right.
I got some major goosebumps. And
Yeah.
I genuinely cannot wait. Like it's young Batman. We
Hmm.
haven't had young Batman before. This is like this is like 23, 24, 25-year-old Batman. This is like our age Batman.
Oh, so they're going opposite of Affleck kind of thing.
I guess, yeah. But I don't know if you know this, but they're doing a HBO TV show to do with Gotham PD. Did you know about this?
Well, is this not Gotham, the TV show?
No, it's a completely different.
Okay.
Gotham's TV show is awful, but
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
it's not. Honestly, it's bad.
Mate, it's got like five
it's so
seasons.
bad.
Who is watching
I
these?
don't know. It's so
Like
bad.
I saw a trailer for like Flash season 7 the other day. I'm like, who
Yeah.
is
Can I
watching
just
this?
say the guy who plays Flash in that is actually getting fed up. He didn't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
He's so annoyed that it's on 7.
Well, Aaron, there's like Arrow went on for like 7. Like, who is
Yeah.
watching this?
Yeah, it's not
Anyway,
good, right? But yeah, so the HBO is doing a TV show about Gotham PD, and they're calling it Year One of Batman. So basically, that the universe of the Gotham PD TV show is the first year Batman is around. So Batman's in his early 20s, and he's part of this TV show potentially, or maybe you don't actually see him, but he's around, right? He's starting to get a name for himself. So the end of that TV show, or this first series of that TV show, is going to be Year Two Batman, and that is where the film comes in. So the film is set in the second year of him ever being Batman, and the TV show is the first year. So I reckon they can do TV show, film, TV show, film, and just keep going to like year 1, 2, 3, 4, and then eventually get to another, like maybe introducing new characters and maybe potentially start a new universe there. I would love that. Like the potential here is amazing. Let's just say that the potential,
yeah.
chef's kiss, is amazing, and I honestly can't wait.
Jay, question for you. I saw lots of rumours and speculation on my Google News feed
Yeah,
of
Willem
Willem
Dafoe.
Dafoe
Yeah.
being the Joker, and I was like, please, no more Jokers.
No,
And
no
then
more
the
Willem
trailer,
Dafoe. Jesus, he's been the Green Goblin. He's been the guy in Aquaman. He's in bloody so
oh
many like
yeah,
things already.
true.
Jesus Christ.
And the trailer comes along, and thankfully it's the Riddler and Penguin, which is mwah.
And Selena Kyle, Zoe Kravitz
Right,
is Selena Kyle. Insane.
right. Yeah. So I just want to check with you that the Joker's not in it. Then
No, thank God he
no,
isn't.
no.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Jesus, Joker doesn't come into it until Batman's in his like 30s. I want to say probably. At least I
yeah.
hope so. Maybe even late 20s.
How does Joker the film with Joaquin Phoenix? How does that fit into this DC plan?
See, I don't think it does. I think potentially Joaquin might come back as the Joker in this. Potentially.
At the end,
Because
or
the Joker is actually around when Batman is a kid. He's like 8 or 9 years old.
Oh, of course, yeah, because he has a conversation. So could that be Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne?
Potentially, yeah. I reckon
Right.
that's the
Okay.
reason why in the trailer you see the guys with the white faces with the black smiles.
Yeah.
I think they're to do with the Joker's influence in the previous film. I think his
Okay.
influence has been around, but Joker might not be around anymore. He's old at this point. You can imagine like 50, almost 15 years after he was around. He was in his 40s. He's probably like in his 50s now,
Yeah.
or at least in his like early 50s. So he's not going to be doing, you know, the king of crime type of stuff. He's just going to be like sitting at home, wanting to be retired, and not going to be causing any chaos. But his influence has stuck around, I reckon. Yeah, definitely. And I love the potential there. I still don't think they're going to do that, but if they do, it'll be amazing. It'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a new Joker. Maybe there's like a son of Joker. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. I just don't do Joker anymore. Just let the other villains. I want Mr. Freeze. I want all this stuff. I want all the cooler stuff. Joker's been done. Let it die already. Jesus.
And I was just going to say, Colin Farrell. Was he in the trailer?
He's the Penguin. Yes. He's the fat guy with the pointy nose.
Yeah,
you wouldn't recognise him.
I didn't realise that was even the Penguin when I saw the trailer, and then I saw like, oh, by the way, and I was like, what?
I don't think we know who the Riddler's played by the guy who did It, the Skarsgård kid. I forgot his name.
Oh, the clown.
Yeah, he plays Pennywise. You know who that is, and you know what he looks like in real life.
Yeah.
So he's the guy playing Riddler in this.
Right, okay, fair. I remember way back when, Jay, before Dark Knight Rises came out and Robin Williams was rumoured to be the Riddler in that. That was cool. That was a cool rumour.
That was. Also, I think Jonah Hill was supposed to be Penguin.
Really?
For a very brief amount of time, and then all of a sudden they were like, nah, not really. I think he might have even turned it down. He basically wanted to be the kind of guy who directs movies. He wants to be a director. He doesn't want to be an actor anymore, basically.
Sure.
So.
Oh, what I was going to say, Jay, I forgot what I was going to say. What I was going to say was I'm a big fan of Matt Reeves, and I love the Planet of the Apes, new Planet of the Apes trilogy. I think it's fantastic.
See, I still haven't seen the Planet of the Apes yet, so I kind of want to save that potentially. But
you have to see those 3 movies. You have to.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. I like the originals, so.
After you see those movies, Jay, all you will think is, how has Andy Serkis not got an Oscar? It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's a point. Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Yeah, saw that. Is he in the trailer?
His voice is in the trailer. You can hear him talk.
Okay.
Is he the narrator? What he looks like.
Is he?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
He's like there, but you don't really see him. You just hear him.
Okay, got you. Wow. Yeah, very exciting, Jay. Very exciting. Good time for you.
Just another small, quick detail. A lot of it is filmed. All the Gothic kind of architecture is filmed in Liverpool.
Wow.
And I think the rest of the film is filmed in London.
Wow.
No America that we know of so far.
That's cool.
Yeah. Matt Reeves was like, I want to do Gothic. I want it to be like proper Gothic Gotham. Because Gotham and Gothic makes sense. So I'm going to Liverpool where there's so much Gothic architecture. It makes sense.
Wow.
I love it. And then they're going to add all the big buildings in after the fact. Amazing. Cool. I honestly can't wait. It still looks so amazing. And I'm genuinely annoyed at all these people who are like crapping on the film, basically saying that he's an emo Batman. I don't care. He can be emo all he wants. That's what this part of life is supposed to be. He's supposed to be emotional and depressed and awful. Figure yourself out.
Yeah.
His parents are dead, for God's sake. Let him be depressed.
It's a very exciting time for you, Jay.
DC,
Before this all happened, you were playing the Avengers beta.
I was, and I have a what's the word?
Verdict.
Verdict. There we go. Yeah, verdict. It really pains me to say this, and I hate that it pains me to say it, but I think I'm going to have to buy it.
Yeah.
For curiosity reasons, just because I think it's at this point it's more of an investment. Because me and you spoke recently, and I was saying about how games nowadays, or at least in the last 4 or 5 years, tend to come out, and then a year later the game is 100% better because of DC and updates, or DLC and updates, right? And that then makes you think, well, did the game come out at only 50% done, and then the DLC finished the game for it while it was being updated? And that was obviously they were being paid from like pre-orders of DLC and maybe pre-orders of the game to then finish the rest of the game, which I think is quite a good way of making a game, because it gives the game definitely at least a year in terms of longevity, right? It makes the game last longer. It makes budgeting a lot easier. There's definitely, but then on the downside, it makes it so that the chance of error is a lot bigger. Like if you don't get enough funding, if the development team, something happens to the development team and you can't finish the game, well then the game is just now a bad game and you haven't made it's just not good anymore. But, there's still a chance for it to be somewhat good, but there's definitely a bigger chance for it to fail, definitely. And I kind of feel like that's what Avengers is right now. It's a game that's only maybe like 45% done, not even 50. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's done. And I think a year from now, it'll feel a lot better, but it won't feel as good. It won't even feel 70% done in a year from now. I really think it's going to take maybe 2 years, which I think is what you said about how this Marvel Avengers Crystal Dynamics game's had 5 years development, the same as what this potentially Rocksteady game has had. But the
Yeah.
Rocksteady game's not coming out for another 2 years because they know the game's not done. They don't want to release it now because they can. They want to release it later because they know it's going to be better, which I think is what Crystal potentially should have done. But again, they probably would have clashed with this DC game, so maybe not would have done as well. And it seems like they want to make another game, Crystal Dynamics, so this is going to fund potentially the rest of this game and somewhat of the next game, potentially. So again, it's all up in the air, but this is like predictions. But I kind of just want to play it because I don't really have much else to play at the minute. So I know I'm going to enjoy myself because it's still, it's Marvel. And if we do get these 15 characters in the next year or two, and a lot of them I love, the thing is, out of the 21 characters that are potentially going to be released in total, I only don't like 2 of them. So I think there's a pretty good bet. If you're going to like 19 and not like 2, then it's fine. So I think I kind of have to get it, and I don't want to. I really don't. It's a waste of money, but I have to because it's Marvel. I can't not.
And
I'm
you're
going to be
thinking,
missing out. FOMO,
yeah,
massive FOMO if I don't get it.
yeah, and you're thinking that even though it might not be done in a year, 2 years, you'll still kind
It's
of
an
have it.
investment. Yeah, it's a massive gamble and risk. I hate it so much.
Will you keep playing it as it gets updated, or will you just wait until it's done and then go back to it?
So I think the plan is to 100% it as much as I can, get to max level with every character that's going to be out, and then as soon as the next character comes out, just continue.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll play it as it updates, I think. I'll play it as much as I can until I get fed up with it, and then just keep playing it once it gets updated. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be quite a steady stream of characters. I really do. I hope it'll, because Hawkeye is supposed to come out fairly soon after the game comes out, so that's another good character that I wouldn't mind giving a go. So honestly, the only characters I haven't played out of the 6 that are supposed to release with the game are Thor and Captain America, and they're the 2 characters I actually want to play. So just bring on those characters already. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheap and nasty, and they know what they're doing. They're not innocent, all right? They're monetizing this game in such a way that it feels disgusting. It feels so dirty and greedy and just awful. It just feels. It just makes like a really bad taste in my mouth. But the aftertaste is quite nice because it's Marvel. So I can't. I honestly hate how that they're allowed to get away with this. I really do. It's so
I don't think they
greedy.
will get away with it, mate. I don't think they will.
Because I think the biggest comparison most people are making is Anthem, right? Anthem had the same thing. I played the beta. The beta was fine. Or it wasn't fine. It was actually quite terrible, but I still played it anyway. And then I got the game, and the game failed. So I think a lot of people are hoping that the game doesn't fail. I hope it doesn't, but it does feel a lot like Anthem. It feels heavy. It feels slow. It feels clunky. It feels bad frame rates, like awful. This game, I think the biggest takeaway is this game is not made for base consoles anymore. It hardly plays on PS4 Pro. Like, it only barely plays on that. So if I'm going to have to play it on PS4, it's going to be even harder. Because I will say, it's not even 1080 on PS4. It's 900. It only reaches 1080 when there's nothing going on screen. It's 900 base. It only goes up to 1080 once it's and it's also 30 frames as well, which is just not great for this kind of game.
Do we know when the next gen upgrade's coming?
Well, when the next gen comes out, I imagine. Like day one, I want to say.
Right. Okay. Fine.
It's also free too, which is nice.
What is?
The upgrade.
Okay. Yeah, because we still haven't got a list of all the games that will be upgrade. As in the developers have gone in and upgrade. We still haven't got that list yet for day one for either consoles, so that's really useful. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too much. I think I'm just super curious to do the special with you, Jay, and if we do one, and to find out what your thoughts are of it when the game comes out, really.
I think we might have to do multiple. We'll have to do like one when it comes out, one a year later, and then one maybe another year after that if it's still alive,
And that is absolute. I think more gaming media outlets should do that. I know they've done that for Destiny and No Man's Sky and things like that, but these updated reviews and thoughts should be on games like this should be every year for sure.
I think every game should have an updated review a year later. Every
Yeah.
game, not
Yeah.
just or like every game that has had massive improvements at least. Games that have had some sort of like update to it. I
Yeah,
think
so
yeah,
go
go
on.
on. Go.
All right. I was just going to say quickly that as soon as the review goes out, 2 days later it could be null. So it really is.
Yeah, I'm
Doesn't.
kind of worried what the review. I reckon the review isn't going to be an 8.
I'm thinking 6, 7, mate.
Yeah, 6, 7 at most. At most. If it gets an 8, it's because of the bias. It's total bias because of Marvel.
Well, could there be a good story here, perhaps?
What do you mean a good story?
Like Avengers story.
No, the story's pretty terrible. It's really badly written.
Okay.
It's cheesy. I think the greatest comparison I've heard with the writing in this is I actually discovered it before I even heard anyone else say it. I was speaking to you while I was playing the beta, and I was
Yeah.
saying about how the writing is a lot like a TV show writing. Like it's just bad. It's cheesy. It's awful, and it's like very quick. It's not like there's no development. It's just really bad comedy, and the game doesn't need it. It just needs to be more serious, more dramatic. I mean, you can have comedy, but there's way too much of it. You were saying before about how when characters just say things out loud, they do it so often in this beta that it's actually kind of sickening to hear. Honestly, Tony Stark will say the same joke every 10 minutes for hours. It's disgusting. It's so gross. It's so revolting. It's so cheesy and awful. I really hope that. I mean, they're not going to fix it. I think. I don't know. It's really bad, but I have to play it. It's really bad.
So what happened at some point in this game development cycle? They either didn't know what game they want to make, or
Yeah, that's what it was.
the publisher got involved. But something has happened to this game.
Yeah, something happened. I reckon it was in development, and then a year or two later, maybe even a year after they were like it, they were like, right, we don't. The publishers were like, no, we don't like this. Change it.
Yeah.
Make it so we can monetize this, so we can get as much money out of people as we can.
Yeah.
And I think part of that, I think the only silver lining I see to this game is that the DLC is free. Every DLC from now until end of it dies is all free.
Really?
Every character that comes out free.
What about story DLC and stuff like
Free.
that?
Everything. They literally said in bold, everything. Everything. Every additional bit of content for this game is free. That's the reason why it's so pricey too. Because you're basically paying for the season pass with the game.
Yeah, I think that does counter the microtransactions a little, if I'm honest. Just a little.
What do you mean, counter?
Well, like, it would be worse if they were charging for all the characters as well.
Oh yeah, it would be a lot worse. I think that's why they're monetizing the costumes. I guess the only bit of monetization in this game is visual. There's you can't pay to win, which is good. But the only thing you have to pay for is visual stuff. So
which I'm fine with, as long as not every single cool outfit you have to pay for, which usually isn't the case.
Yeah, I guess it's that, and also I hope that the like battle pass system is not too much money. It'd be really bad if it costs like, I don't know, what would you think is like a good amount of money to pay for a battle pass?
On the presumption that you can get the next battle pass if you play it enough on the current battle pass. Does that make sense?
No, on the presumption that you have to pay for each one individually.
Oh, mate. 3-4 quid?
Yeah, it can't be any more than 5.
No.
Thing is though, I guess if you pay a one-time thing and you then have it for the rest of that character's each individual season that comes out, that's probably cool. Like a season pass for a battle pass would be cool. But
yeah.
I don't know. They even show you the free rewards on the beta, and they weren't even that cool. Not really. They just sort of gave you like nameplates and like new costumes, and the costumes weren't even that good. They're really bad. They're just like different colors of the same thing, basically. They're not good. They're really not good. I'm guessing you're not going to be getting this.
No, mate. No, I'm just fascinated to see what you think of it at this point.
Yeah,
like my excitement is just your reaction now.
I'm kind of like buying it for the both of us to an extent. I kind of want to like
cover it.
cover it. I want to have it covered because I feel like if I didn't, then it's basically like me not watching a film and yet having some sort of opinion on it. I can't have an opinion if I haven't played it or watched it. So I have to get it just because my opinion would be somewhat invalid if I didn't. So
Sure. No,
yeah,
yeah, and I think it's one of the first games coming out, this fall, winter, whatever you want to call it, Christmas, holiday, whatever the hell you want to
yeah,
call it. It's like the first of the gaming season of
yeah.
this
Of the
weird
games that are
time.
definitely going to be on next gen or should have been made for next gen, definitely.
Yeah, and it's coming out this year, so
Yeah,
exciting times. And Jay, I want to put another complaint out there that we still don't know the price or release dates for either of these consoles.
yeah. I mean, we're getting Gamescom in the next 3 days, so yeah, Gamescom's 27th to the 30th, so we should hear something.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of. Oh, well, last thing I think you want to talk about, Jay,
Yeah, just a
Tony
quick
Hawk.
thing. Just a quick thing. It's coming out at roughly the same time as Avengers, and
Oh
I'm actually
yeah,
kind of looking forward to Tony Hawk, but I don't think I'm going to get it straight away. I think I'm going to wait.
all
I'm
right.
going to wait till I get bored with Avengers, and then if I haven't got bored, if a month goes by and Squadron comes out, I probably won't bother with Tony Hawk. I'll just get Squadron instead.
So here's the issue for you, Jay. I wouldn't get it till next year, and I'll tell you for why. Why not
What,
be
Tony
cheap?
Hawk?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not be
yeah,
cheaper? Two, you've got Avengers, then you've got Squadrons, then you've got Dirt 5, then you've got
yeah,
Cyberpunk, then you've got
yeah,
Valhalla.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
There's too much at the minute, so yeah.
I personally wouldn't feel. I mean,
I
you can
think
do what you want,
I
but
mean, if there's like a 2 week window between Squadrons and Avengers, then I potentially might get it, but it's going to
yeah.
still cost a lot of money, so probably not.
And
Probably not.
you could finish that in a couple of weeks for sure, for
Oh,
sure.
what, Tony Hawk? Yeah, let me say it's
Yeah,
2 games. You're paying for two. It's Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
yeah,
2 games. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
I'm actually
yeah.
want to play it just because of the soundtrack. The soundtrack looks amazing. I can't wait. Yeah, I'll get
So,
round to it. I'll buy that for the two of us. I'll get round to it.
well, don't feel like you need to, but yeah,
No, I will.
be interested to
I
hear
love
the.
skating games. Like I loved the previous Tony Hawk games, so I'm a fan of Tony Hawk. I love skating
Well,
games, so
that
I'll
you
play it
can play
eventually.
Tony Hawk, and I'll play Crash 4, and we can cover off the old
There we
remakes.
go. There we
You know.
go. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, news story I saw, Jay, from the
Yeah, I'm
Xbox.
interested. Let's go.
They're revamping the dashboard, the UI, and I wanted to bring it up because I think it's a really good thing. They're
Yeah, it
doing
looks
it,
good.
and it looks just simpler, smoother, faster. There's nothing particularly revolutionary about it, but I wanted to bring it up because it now feels like the next gen's really starting to be implemented. Like, if the new consoles came out, Jay, with exactly the same dashboards, I would then begin to be like, is this even a new console generation, guys? Is this just
Yeah,
an
you
upgrade?
have to have one, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. It's got to feel a little different,
Definitely. No, I'm looking at it right now. It does actually look pretty good.
I'd
I
be
kind of
interested to
can't
see what
wait
you
actually.
think. I'd be
Yeah,
interested to see what
well,
you
actually,
think.
I want to make a weird comparison right now.
Yeah, go on.
We used Skype yesterday for something, and it actually looks a little bit like some of the UI on Skype.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
slightly, not exactly the same, but there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway from this, I'm just hoping it's like smooth. I don't want it to be jittery or laggy or take
That
forever to really load. It needs to be instant. Instant.
that's their goal. They're making something that is faster and requires less power, so you can use the console for other stuff.
I
Power
think they're
wise.
actually preparing for it now because there was an update to the dashboard yesterday. So I
Oh,
reckon they're probably.
are you on the insider program?
I think I do get updates about it on my email, so maybe.
Maybe you are then.
I don't know. I get like weird stuff from PlayStation and Xbox to say, do you want to try this out sooner rather than later? I'm like, okay, fine. I do. My dad gets the same thing. He'll get like an email from PlayStation being like, do you want an updated version of the dashboard sooner rather than later? I'm just like, okay, cool. It does happen. We've had that a few times. I think it's more like a secret beta test kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, they haven't changed it entirely yet. But yeah, I can't wait. It's such a small thing, but it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what's this? I saw this trailer, Jay. I didn't watch it though. Tell me all about this game.
Yeah. So Black Myth Wukong. Do you know who Sun Wukong is?
No.
Do you know the mythology around Sun Wukong?
No.
Okay, so there's a book that came out in the 1600s called Journey to the West.
Oh,
You
I
may
know that. I know the name. Like that name rings a bell.
Okay, so yeah, Journey to the West is a story about a monkey called Sun Wukong, who it's basically like it's a myth. So it's a story that has been told in China, but it's kind of surrounded by Buddhism and India as well. Like it's sort of like a mold between the two cultures and religions. It's all to do with Buddhism and stuff like that. So it's about a monkey who was born from stone,
Okay.
which is weird enough as it is. And
Yeah.
he grows up and is able to uh, basically like become this like martial artist, sort of like amazing fighter, essentially with this bow staff. Um, and he can fly around on a cloud, a bit like Dragon Ball. And he can turn into 72 different creatures. This is like his thing, right? And each of these creatures are like quite powerful. It's a bit like I don't know, what can I compare it to? I'm sure there's been like games where you've been able to transform into a creature before and like have some sort of ability, maybe like a bull and you charge and stuff like that, right? Here's a similar thing, but this game is basically that story. But like it's like a mixture between like a hack and slash and a Dark Souls kind of game, but with that character. So you basically just play as Wukong and become these different things. But I think the reason why people liked it so much is because it's not actually a game yet, but it looks so good. It looks like it's been developed by like the best people over like 10 years, but it's not even out yet. It's not even an alpha. It's like pre-alpha.
Okay.
But it's a Chinese made game, but it has the potential to be quite a large Western game if it gets the right funding and stuff. So I recommend you watch it, even if just for like 5 minutes, and just give me your opinion at a later date, because it looks amazing. And one of the biggest things I think people were saying is, again, I think you'd be amazed to say that it's not a tech demo because there's frame rate drops, but it still looks so good. So as long as it's like a trailer for a gameplay that has frame rate drops is such a good sign, because it means that it has the potential to become a real game. And I think this just, again, so much. The word potential has been thrown around a lot today, but again, it just looks like it has the potential, the chance to be a very good Dark Souls stroke hack and slash amazing myth type game. So I just think it looks amazing. It just looks so well done, and I kind of can't wait to see what it turns into. It definitely looks like a next gen game, 100%, even now. So yes, I recommend you watch it, and then I want to hear your opinion.
I saw some screenshots and it looked very interesting.
It's so detailed. It's insane how detailed it is, just for what it is.
So, is there any type of release date or anything?
Nope, nothing. It's basically, this is what we've made, and if you want to be a real game, we'll make it.
Is it fundraising then?
I don't know. I think it's already got the budget. It's just more of a time thing now, because China are known for their massive budgets.
Yeah.
But they tend to bring out games that just never come out over here because there's not enough hype around it.
Yeah.
So they just need the right people to publish it, and it'll be good.
All right, I'll check it out. It sounds very interesting.
I don't know. I mean, you don't really like Souls-like games, right?
I think how much of it is hack and slash, and how much of it is
that's
Souls?
The thing. I think the biggest comparison was it's a lot more. It's a lot like than God of War. It's like a God of War, but in China with a monkey, like a Chinese myth.
I'm down for that.
It's basically God of War, but with Chinese myth, essentially.
We need more games from mythologies anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's already been a lot. They just haven't had the right technology to make them look good enough yet. So.
That's true. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Jay, last week we talked about how the Halo Infinite delay came right after we recorded, and it happened again.
It did. We now know why it's being delayed.
Oh, no, I was talking more about... Well, that's true, but I was talking more about a different announcement just after we recorded last week. Sure. It was delayed because they were outsourcing loads of stuff, right?
Too many people. Yeah. Too many cooks in the kitchen. They couldn't get everyone around to be like a concise, thing. They just had too many people to talk to, so they need to, shrink it a little bit.
Not a good sign. That is not a good reason for a delay. Sign.
It's a bad sign.
And now there's talks of them cancelling the Xbox One version completely. So
Oh
just the
yeah, I'd be
Series
happy
X
with that. That's
version.
fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's a launch, well, yeah.
It's not
I
launched,
mean,
but yes.
like it's definitely a next gen
Oh,
title.
they should definitely cancel the Xbox One version, 100%. I
Yeah.
don't think any next gen game now should ever be on previous console because it's
Okay.
not going to play well. These consoles can't handle it. They just can't. They cannot handle the next generation. They can't do it. It's just bad.
Yeah. It's not a good sign, and the creative director or directors left a year or two ago as well. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah, now I'm starting to get worried. The only thing
I'm
that
massively worried.
keeps me having faith in the game is the soundtrack they're releasing on YouTube. It's really good. In fact, it's
Yeah,
the best soundtrack since Halo 3 from the tracks
yeah,
that
and that's
they've
saying
released.
something.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that is saying something. Apart from that, it's not looking good. It's
No.
not looking. Jay, did you see that Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting 9s and 10s?
It's actually a really good game. I've probably watched about 15 hours of streamers playing it so far. It's really fun to watch. It's like surprisingly good to watch.
To be fair, didn't that game always have a bit of a buzz around it when
Yeah,
it was
Flight
announced?
Simulator's been very popular. I mean, for years, like probably close to a decade, if not longer.
Yeah.
There's people who are actually pilots today who played Flight Simulator when it first came out. There's people who went on to be pilots. So, it's a good enough game to warrant that. So I can't imagine why it should be. A game like that should never be bashed, not really, because it's just there's no reason to. There's no real hype around it because there's no real brand. I think
Yeah.
it's just a massive improvement on previous games from what I've watched. So it does look amazing, especially these people who have like the proper setups with like the wheels and stuff. Like people who
Yeah.
have like the joysticks and everything. It looks amazing. It really does.
Fair,
I wouldn't
fair.
ever think I'd be saying that about a game, but it really does look. It looks awesome. And you can do
Looks
some
like
pretty good stuff with it too.
looks like Xbox's first win in a while has come from a bit of a offside maneuver, I think there.
I mean, it's basically like Google Maps or Google Earth, but you can fly it.
Something like that,
And
yeah.
the actual it's not flat. It's not 2D. It's 3D. Like, everything's been
Yeah.
crafted in game. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. So Jay, the announcement I was talking about earlier was Ghost of Tsushima Legends. A
Yeah.
free online co-op mode.
So
Holy moly.
I think this is supposed to be a little bit like, I don't know if it's like a horde mode or like a, because I know you're basically in another world. You're in a world where Japanese myths are real.
Oh,
That's like the
so
whole
cool.
point. You're basically in this like underworld where there's like demons and all these like spirits that are from Japanese lore, and you basically have to fight these things with your friends. That's just like so honestly, I can't. This was so out of like left field.
I
I did
know.
not see this coming.
I know.
And it's supposed to be coming out within the next month or so, I think, right? It's like
Fall
fall.
2020, yeah.
I want to I don't know if I want to play it. I kind of want to just like, I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it. Hopefully that'll be what I play in the in between Avengers and Squadrons if it comes out that soon. I doubt it will, but it'd be cool if it did.
This update was literally making me want to buy the game. Like, how crazy
I
is
honestly
that?
still don't know why you haven't played it yet. It's so you. It's annoying how you it is.
That's fair.
From from how it looks, it's more you. I don't know if how it plays is you. I think the combat is probably not you. I don't know if you like this kind of combat or not. But
Sure. I think left field is a good analogy, Jay. I mean, we were expecting single player DLC or a typical horde mode or a battle royale. Like, who knew what we were going to get? But this hit the mark. This was one of those examples, Jay, where players didn't know what they wanted, but they knew it when it was shown to them.
Yeah,
You know, like
so.
as soon as this announcement trailer came, it was like, oh, of course.
Of course is what we wanted.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, I wanted more Japanese myth stuff. I just think that's amazing. I love it when like the storytelling in this game is so good. Yeah, I kind of don't know exactly what it is yet, but I'm hopeful to see what it becomes. So I'm sure we'll learn more about it nearer the time.
Yeah, man.
We haven't really seen that much yet, so we'll see.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when it comes out. I'm sure you'll play it. So,
definitely.
Jay, I'm going to switch it up. Guess whose review time? Woo! Caught you off guard. just to let you know that if you haven't emailed in 3 different types of hair to us as donations, the guest review segment / movement is when me and Jay pick a random game review from a random media outlet, and we give each other 3 quotes to try and guess the game. So this week, Jay's got the quotes, I've got to guess, and here we go.
Right, so I just want to remember. So the score is 10-8 to me.
Okay.
Last week, what game did you do? I forget which one it
Fallout
was.
3, obviously.
Fallout 3, okay. And then before that, I did Tomb Raider with you, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Okay, so this week is this one.
Not my best performance.
I'm kind of worried you're going to get this. Right, okay, here we go. You ready?
This should be easy difficulty, FYI, but whatever.
I mean, I think it is. That's what's...
I picked Fallout 3, but go on.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
A time-slowing power makes scoring a couple of headshots with a bow easy, whether in stealth mode or in the heat of battle. Or just stealth or in the heat of battle. Not mode, I'll just put that in there.
There is one game I have to guess.
Yeah. Okay, do you want me to say it again before you guess, or what?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, a time-slowing power makes scoring a couple of headshots with the bow easy, whether in stealth or in the heat of battle.
See, this is going to be one of 2 games, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to guess one, but I think it'll be the
Okay,
other.
you can say both games, but just say which one you are going to guess which one it is. Just say them out loud, just so we know what you're thinking.
Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay, they're your 2 potential guesses. You've got to now choose one of those that you're going to guess from. So what were they? They were Horizon and...
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Okay, continue. Pick one, I guess.
See, I don't think either of them are right now because of your...
Potentially not. We don't know. This is... Well, you've got 3 points on the line here, Nick.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
False.
Oh, Christ.
Okay.
Give me the second quote. Give me the second quote.
I'm actually worried you're not going to get it now. Bugger. Okay. In the second act, you transition from the bleak brown map to a refreshing greener looking area.
That's not Odyssey.
See, this makes me worried now, because if it's not Odyssey, what is it?
Bow and arrow.
Slow down power, whether you're in stealth or heat of battle.
I mean, it could be Assassin's Creed 3.
In the second act, you transition from bleak brown map to a refreshingly greener looking area.
I mean, it could be Origins, but like it's not quite.
Why are you thinking Assassin's Creed? I'm so confused.
I don't know what else to Brown
This is a game that I know you've played. That's why I chose it. You've definitely played this because you talk about it so bloody much. Or at least you used to. You definitely used to.
Oh, no.
There was a very specific time when you spoke about this quite a bit. I'm giving you some hints here, my guy. I really hope you get this. I'm worried now. You're definitely going to get it on 3, so... I mean, you should. If you don't, I'll be... Because the thing is, I haven't played this game. And I think you told me to play it, and I was like, no, I'm good.
Oh, no.
I know. It's annoying when you're in this position. Because you go completely blank.
Oh, can you say the first quote again, please?
A time-slowing power makes scoring a couple of headshots with the bow easy, whether in stealth or in the heat of battle. In the second act, you transition from bleak brown map to a refreshingly greener looking area. Second act.
Bastard. This is not a game with an infamous bow and arrow. Alright?
Is it? Well, I mean, there probably isn't. I don't know.
No, there is a bow and an arrow, but like I wouldn't say the game's known for it, but...
No, I chose that because I hadn't played it, so I didn't know.
Okay. Oh, this better be right. Is this The Last of Us?
No.
Oh, God. I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, God. Right,
easy difficulty, Jay. Easy difficulty.
I mean, it kind of is.
Jay, in The Last of Us, you go from a brown Act 1 to a green Act 2.
I haven't played it. I wouldn't know. Okay. Right. For 1 point, you've got to get this now. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. God. because the ability to brand an enemy gives you the choice of either killing a captain for a rune reward or controlling him.
Oh, Christ's sake. Oh, but which one? Which one is it?
Well, I'll give it to you whichever
Oh,
one you say. Whichever one you say, I'll
okay.
give it to you.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yes!
Oh, God.
10-9 to me still.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what? The quotes are right, but every game I mentioned, the quotes can be applied to.
That's what's annoying to that, because there's so many games that are applicable to most of these quotes we've said in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, even the Tomb Raider stuff, I remember reading that being like, this is so similar to a lot of other games.
Yeah.
It's annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm
glad you got it. I'm so glad you got it, though.
I should have got the green one, because that is a big thing.
Is it? I don't know. I haven't played.
Yeah, like the second area.
I just picked things that kind of like sounded like things that you might know. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you got it, though. I'm glad you got it.
So what is it? 10-9?
10-9 to me. Yeah. I got lucky last week. I got lucky.
You're getting hard difficulty next week. I'll tell you that right now.
Good. I'm glad.
All right.
It makes it funny because if it is hard and I get it straight away, you're gonna be so pissed.
I'm gonna be so annoyed.
You're gonna be so annoyed. Oh wow, that was good. That was really good. I enjoyed that one. That was really good.
Good. So Jay, you wanted to bring this up on a show podcast.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to hear your opinion more than anything.
Can you just briefly, just so I know what we're talking about, can you just clarify it for me? This debate you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I've even done it. I've been, guilty of this today. I've been saying how I compare games to like other games, and whether is it okay to compare games that are like other games, like games that are like Souls games or games that are like Assassin's Creed games and stuff like that? Is it okay to make those comparisons, and how does that affect yours and the other persons you're telling this to? Opinion, like does it affect their opinion? Does it make it worse for them? Does it make it better for them? Should it influence them in a good way, a bad way? Does it depend on the person? Stuff like this. Like I kind of want to know how you personally feel about it, because I kind of want to know the boundaries of what I can and can't say for the future, if anything.
There are no boundaries.
Because I feel like I said to you how Ghost of Tsushima, I said that Wukong was a lot like God of War, and then you went, oh, like you kind of your ears perked up a little bit. I noticed. So, was that comparison a good comparison, or did that make you feel better about the potential of this other game, or did it make you feel worse? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it made me in that specific instance, it made me feel better about the game, because it means there's a certain level of accessibility there and action, which is exciting. The broader concept, I think it ultimately comes down to the use of comparison, which is that we use it because it's an easy description. Mm-hmm. So instead of me trying to explain to you The Last of Us, and because it's a very unique game and fairly different, we can use ways which will help you understand what I'm talking about quicker and easier, right? I think we get into issues when we use it to define the thing itself.
That's what
a lot of people do and a lot of gamers do is, so this game's, for example, Outriders, this game's Mass Effect and Destiny. It's like, I understand you're trying to conceive of the game and what the game is. You haven't played it yet, so it's difficult. And they're trying to market it, but you're also basically trying to box it in. And like, as soon as you've boxed it in, you're like, I can move on now. I know what the game is.
Yeah, because I guess you could also say when you've boxed it, it also doesn't allow your perception of it to grow in any way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're basically becoming from open-minded to closed-minded a little bit, right? You're sort of like finished with that thought. Now you don't have to think about it much else unless you do want to buy it off that single comparison, right? Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. And simplifying games is one of the worst things we do really in modern gaming. And I'm not saying that a lot of modern games do exist in similar genres and all that kind of stuff, but there's definitely nuances and slight variations that we either ignore consciously or subconsciously, to the point where games like Outriders will not be Destiny. They're different. They're made from different people, and third-person shooting, like first-person shooting, space, whatever, but there's definitely small variations which we ignore. Some games try and copy blatantly, and that should definitely be noticed, but yeah, for the most part, I think we just box games in a bit too much. That being said, there is a lot of third-person open world games out there, so you do wonder whether it's the gamer's fault for boxing games in when there's so many of the same similar games coming out, right? I'm thinking Sony first party here, God of War, third-person open, Ghost of Tsushima, third-person open, Last of Us, third-person linear, ish, Spider-Man, third-person open world, like, there's so many games that are
Marvel
similar.
Avengers, third
Marvel
person.
Avengers. So there's so many games that are
Yeah.
similar genres. However, when you look at them, when you look at each of those games, they're completely different.
Oh
Completely
yeah,
different
definitely.
games.
Yeah.
So, and I think as games develop, we'll begin to realize just how different a game can be, even if it is exactly the same genre. What do you think?
I think what you just said gave me hope. Let's just say that. Like, that was very inspirational there, Nick. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I feel like when I talk about games, I like to think I come from quite a good place most of the time, but I really want games to do well, like, because it means good things for the future potentially. But I do kind of feel like I get a bit negative sometimes, and I kind of hope that whenever anybody talks about a game negatively, it shouldn't ever really sway anyone's opinion too much, because obviously you have to kind of like do it for yourself. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely. I don't know whether it's ultimately a good thing to compare games to things like that. I think it kind of, I guess you could say, it relies on the person receiving the information to just stay open minded, rather than to take what this other person is saying as Bible, I guess. Yeah, no, there's definitely pros and cons, but I'd say there's probably more pros than anything else, because I mean, I don't think I've ever had someone say to me, "Oh, this game is like this," and me go, "Oh, I didn't like that game, so why would I bother with this one?" I think that's probably more just my open mindedness, being like, "Well, I'd rather just give it a go, or maybe not give it a go, depending on my opinion rather than yours."
That's a fair shout, Jay. Actually, the comparisons we use are usually with positive games.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
a good. That is a
I've-
good.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if I've ever gave a comparison to a game that I didn't like. I'm trying to think of a game I don't like. It's very hard for me to not like games nowadays. I'm trying to remember. I mean, Last of Us for me, I don't really like, right? So I
Sure.
guess if I had to, the thing is, I wouldn't ever tell someone to not play it because I don't like it. I mean, like, you might like it, but if I made a comparison with to another game like Last of Us, I'd probably just say another third person linear game, right? But I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I think we both made a good point that we tend not to care about comparing games that we don't like so much, right?
And media outlets love boxing games in.
Yeah, I think that's more just so they can like get more views on their articles, maybe.
There is
That's
definitely
more
a
of
few
like a
reasons for that.
journalism reason, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think people like us maybe do that because we see it so often in the media. Would you say? We've actually been influenced subconsciously by the media to compare games like other games. That could be a much bigger thing to realize there, maybe. That we're just so used to the media comparing games to other games that we just have to do it ourselves because we've just seen it so much. We think it's like a good
That's
thing,
true.
but it could actually be quite harmful, maybe. I don't know.
And the classic example is the Souls-like game, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Oh my god, so many games have been called Souls-like. So many. Even this bloody Wukong one, it does feel a little bit like it, but I think ultimately it won't be.
Yeah, but see, this is where perhaps we come at a crossroads, Jay, because where do you fall on this? Because I agree that, I don't think the games, if you like those games, you know the differences between them, right? But when you look at them at face value, they're very similar.
What do you mean?
Well, so like Neo and Dark Souls, like,
yeah,
I haven't played them, so I don't know the nuances.
Mm-hmm. No,
Nuances.
they are very similar, but also different in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
And I think that if anything just shows more of like a good game developer, how you can make a game that's similar to something else, but then obviously put your own spin on it in a way.
Yeah.
I think even in that example of Souls, like, I think that actually has more harm than it does anything else. Because a lot of people don't like Souls games; they think they're too difficult. So if you label another game like a Souls game, that's probably not going to sell as well as if you hadn't made that comparison.
Well, to be fair though, the Souls-like player base is so big now, they're probably just trying
Yeah,
to
I
build
think it has increased. Yeah, I think that they're just trying to like soften up the Souls people who like those kind of games. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, definitely. I think on the a casual gamer would probably see that as more of a warning sign than anything else, though.
Yeah.
And I think potentially maybe there's probably some game developers who don't like that as much.
Yeah.
Don't know. Hard to say. Hard to say. I think this actually, with the example of this Wukong, it actually looks more like an action kind of hack and slash God of War type game because it's got like abilities a little bit like Odyssey as well. It's got like the sort of like the 4 abilities, and I imagine that eventually there'll be 72 abilities because you can have 72 transitions or like transformations or whatever. So yeah, lot of different things compared to Souls in that instance. So yeah, no, I think this is like a good. But would you say so? Would you say that this affects hype for a game before it's even come out? Would you say maybe personally and or generally?
So personally, I do my very best to not box the games in, but
Yeah,
I think you're right in that if struck with the right comparison, it could absolutely generate hype. So, for instance,
yeah. What games are coming out?
it was something like Greedfall came out from Spiders, and it was something like, oh, look, here's the BioWare Bethesda game that we're not getting from those guys, that these guys are beginning to fill the gap in the. Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds was like the Obsidian, like, oh, look,
Oh, that's a good comparison. Yeah,
Bethesda's not making this game, and now Obsidian are starting to fill that hole the more they evolve as a studio. And I think that helped that game a lot, that comparison. But then you
massively.
could also then if you what I think what some gamers do is they go like, oh, that's a Souls like game, so I'm going to compare it to Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, and if it ain't as good as those or Dark Souls 1, then I'm not going to be too interested in it. A bit like Code Vein, I guess. It doesn't seem to have much
Yeah,
sticking
see,
power.
that was an annoying. Code Vein's a great comparison for me. I wanted to get that game so badly, but then it didn't. It kind of seemed like it wasn't enough compared to Bloodborne. So I was like, nah, probably not. That's exactly how it worked for me. I guess you could say ultimately then it's more of like a marketing thing.
Mm.
It's like a marketing thing mixed with a supply and demand thing. Because if there's a hole, a supply for a certain type of game, and the people who usually make that game aren't doing it right now, someone is going to fill that gap because there's money to be made there. So it doesn't matter what that game is as long as the gap's being filled. It doesn't matter what you compare that game to; it's still going to sell, at least reasonably. So I think in that instance, it's actually probably helpful because that game's probably going to get a bump because of the supply and demand and the comparisons that's being made needed for that hole to be filled. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of like weird economic supply and demand marketing sort of
Yeah.
like philosophy going on there that I think is actually quite interesting to sort of just like realize, I guess.
And what Bethesda did before CD Projekt Red, which is who I'm going to talk about now,
Mm.
if you're good enough and talented enough and have the resources, you create the hole and you are the only ones that can fill it.
Yeah, see that is developer perfection right there. See, I think we're having a bit of a problem with that right now with the DC games and Marvel Avengers, aren't we?
Mm.
The hole
Is
is
it?
there,
Yeah,
but it's being
absolutely.
filled by 3 or 4 different people or 3 or 4 different games. But luckily, it's being spread apart, so it's not too
Well,
bad.
I would argue, Jay, that the Batman Arkham games and Spider Man are the only games that have really filled that hole, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the hole can be filled, but sometimes it can't be filled well enough, right?
Mm.
I think that's the issue. Again, I did say before that the hole's being filled in this. I think those games are still going to do well because the hole's there anyway. It doesn't matter if they're only filling it this much compared to this much. Like that much is still going to do well, but it would have been better if it was this much, if it was slightly larger. So I don't know. That's a great comparison, though. I love the inner workings of all that stuff. It just sort of I like how we can like because when we were younger, we didn't know any of this stuff. We could have not come up with that idea by ourselves. No way. I think now that we're sort of looking at things from outside the box a bit more now, which I'm kind
It
of glad.
it really helps us, especially when it comes to purchasing decisions, because like way back when, like you wouldn't kind of look at the box and look at the developer and then make the correlation. You'd look at the box and you'd be like, okay, RPG, yeah, open
Yeah,
world,
exactly.
yeah, single player, yeah, okay, fine. But now, because of our knowledge of the industry, I guess, we're able to go, well, the reason Cyberpunk's so hyped is because we all know exactly who's making it, you know? And we all know exactly the potential. And we would have probably never really, you might have heard whispers and rumors of it, like Call of Duty. You kind of got you got that a bit through because it was such a power. But like growing up, it was a bit of a guess. In fact, yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday in the shower, right? How did we get so lucky when we picked up certain games in the game store? Like, I don't know whether there's a certain intuition you develop, but like, I picked up some of the games and I was like, I could have never played that game. And I just, like, for example, looking back, I accidentally picked up basically the best Dragon Ball Z game in like 12 years. What are the chances of that? You know?
I don't know. I guess there is some level of intuition. Maybe it is by how it looks. Because I remember back in the day, like you made a good argument there about how you wouldn't necessarily need to research a game before you bought it. It was just more about how it looked, right? Like if it looked cool, I was like, if it's an RPG, cool, I'll play it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'm like, well, who's the developer?
Yeah.
How long was it in development for? What was
Yeah.
the budget? Is the lead guy still on it, or has he been fired? You know, all these like there's so many more variables now that yeah, just there's a lot more to take into consideration because now we've learned from previous mistakes, or you know, everything's more of an educated guess now. So, which is I think it brings about more stress and more anxiety. But at the end of the day, it should help us with our financial situation, which is a good thing, I think.
Definitely.
But not in my instance because I'm still paying bloody money for the game I don't want to get but have to play because it has the potential to be good. You know, God.
Yeah.
Thing is, I think I'll actually love the game once I play it on next generation. I think I'll actually enjoy it a lot more. I think it'll actually play a hell of a lot better.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
me
so.
too. Thing is, I don't have to wait that long. I've only got to wait till potentially November. So September, October, November. I've only got to play the game for another 2 or 3 months until I need to play it like properly on next gen. So I'll be good. I'll be good. I think. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
No,
That
thanks
was
for
some
bringing
good.
it up,
That
man.
was some good insight. I needed to hear
That
that.
was a good
Really.
conversation. Shall we? Do you mind if I end it, Jay? Anything else you want to?
Yeah, just as like a maybe like a. I mean, I might talk about this next week, but you know, I should be playing Avengers. I mean, technically, Avengers comes out in a week and a day. It comes out a week tomorrow. So
The actual release.
yeah, well, if you pre-order it, you get it 3 days early,
Okay.
September 1st, rather than September
Is
4th.
that your plan?
That's my plan. We're playing it September 1st. That's my plan. Yeah.
Okay.
What
Right.
about you? Are you
So,
playing anything? I
oh,
mean,
am I
you
playing
finished
anything?
Odyssey now, so
I've actually got Doom Eternal ready to
ooh,
go,
nice.
but
Yeah, yeah.
we've just been so busy that I haven't genuinely had a chance to sit down and play it. And then now I'm kind of more interested in recording Destiny 2 with you than playing it,
Makes
especially
sense.
because of the things that are getting vaulted. So I'm freaking out about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaking out about it too. Part of me wants. I think that was part of the reason why I played Destiny 2 again this year to like finish it off, was just like make sure that I got everything I wanted. But I still don't think I've got everything I wanted. But I'd rather just play it new anyway, just because it's fun to start
Yeah.
again sometimes. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
understand. I understand that definitely.
Yeah, but the exciting thing about that, Jay, is that genuinely, if you don't count Ghost of Tsushima and like Death Stranding and games like that, Doom Eternal is the last game on my kind of back catalog, if you will. So if I finish that before Crash 4 comes out, I'm genuinely caught up. Like I have
Ah,
nothing I
okay.
seriously want to play. So
Yeah, no, I have quite a few things I need to catch up on, but I'm not in the mood to play yet. Like Control is another one I need to play.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah,
We
I
might
don't see
might as
my.
well might as well wait for the Ultimate Edition, maybe, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've got it
Because you already
already. Just
bought
I just
it,
haven't
yeah,
played it. That's the problem.
yeah.
So I might have already wasted some money, but I don't know. I did buy it when it was cheaper, so don't know.
Now it'll be fine. And again, Jay, because of how the next gen is, even if you play these games on next gen, they'll still run better per
Oh
se.
yeah, I think that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
So the way they're designed, apparently they're supposed to. So hopefully it'll kind of be like. I mean, I remember when I played KOTOR on my Xbox One, and the load times were quicker, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of glad in a way that